Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I just recently finished Loki on Disney Plus, and I just wanted to give my overall thoughts and impressions on the show. So, excuse me. Um, just finished it. Before we get started or get too far into it, I just want to say that I'm going to try not to spoil anything for anyone that may have not seen it yet. But I am going to put a spoiler warning here just in case I, say something. Because, once you get talking about stuff, things will slip and whatnot. So this is technically your spoiler warning, but I'm going to try not to spoil it for you guys. So, and if you haven't seen it yet, just stop watching this video, go watch it, and then you can come back. It's all good. So this is Loki on Disney Plus. It's the only way to watch it is on Disney Plus. And out of these three shows that Disney had released, there was like the Falcon and Winter Soldier. There was, what was the other one? Oh, WandaVision and Loki. Like when they first announced these, Loki was the only one really that I was like, oh dude, I really want to see Loki. I actually wasn't super excited to see Falcon and Winter Soldier or even... Man, I keep drawing a blank. WandaVision. So, but both of those shows still turned out good. But Loki just blew both of those shows like clear out of the freaking water. This was so much better than both of those. And both of those shows definitely had like their things that I was like, yeah, this is awesome. But there's also like, I don't know, just Loki was just so... It was so good. It really was. So, the story of Loki, he gets taken... like right at Endgame where you see him take the Tesseract and he leaves. Basically, like right after that is when Loki TV series starts. So he gets taken and he teleports to some like random like desert or whatever. And the second he teleports, this organization called the TVA is there to intercept him. They take him and he's what's called a variant, which is they have this main timeline, right? And anyone that branches off of this main timeline, that's what the TVA does. And we kind of heard something similar to this in Endgame when, what's her name? The bald chick from Doctor Strange, when she was talking to Hulk about like, hey, if you take this out, it doesn't change our timeline. It makes a branching timeline. And so she was kind of going off of like, hey, like this is not supposed to happen. And so that's when they say like, hey, if we take all the time stones, or not time stones, I mean, if you take the time stone, yeah, then you have to come back to this very moment and give it back to me, more or less. So, that kind of goes with that. Main character is Loki. We get quickly introduced to our other main character, Loki. Her name is Sylvie. She's kind of like a mixture, at least I did. I'm not too, knowledgeable on the Loki side of comics. Like I've read a lot of Spider-Man ones and I've read a lot of X-Men and Iron Man and a few other ones, but I haven't really gotten into too much Loki. But from what I've heard, she's kind of like a mixture of a few different characters from the comics, which Marvel tends to do a lot with the source material. Like they pick a character and then they loosely base it off that. Not loosely, but they take aspects from a bunch of different ones. Same with like Thanos, right? Because the whole Endgame was based off of, the Infinity Gauntlet and whatnot. Anyways, about Loki. So it takes place then, and the whole premise of this show is that they're trying to reach the timekeepers who are basically in charge of time. And it gets really, like, it's got some emotional parts, definitely, for sure. There's this character, Mobius, which is, what's his name? Owen Wilson. Owen Wilson plays Mobius, and he kind of shows them like a movie of his life. And so Loki, and you have to realize that this is 2012 Loki watching his whole life unfold, like the part where his mom dies, the part where Asgard gets destroyed, where he actually teams up with his brother, and then at the end where Thanos kills him. Like none of that has happened in Loki's life. This is 2012 Loki that happens right after they lose in New York, Battle of New York, the very first Avengers movie. That's where this Loki is from, and so he doesn't see all this, and so it was really emotional, like watching him see like his whole life unfold, and he kind of has a change of heart right there when normally he would have had it way back in like Thor Ragnarok, where he's like, he's not really bad. He's just kind of lashing out. I don't know. But yeah, so it had a lot of that. Owen Wilson's character was freaking fantastic. Literally all the characters were really, really good. So that was like one of the things that I really liked about this. Characters were awesome. Story was really, really well written. I freaking loved it. That last episode freaking blew my mind. I won't spoil anything for anybody who hasn't seen it, because that last episode does drop a boatload on you. But I'll talk a little bit more about the story. Basically, like I said, that they're trying to, the TVA's purpose is to make sure that any variant that branches off this timeline, they basically capture them, I can't talk, catch them, and more or less delete them. They have like these big like wand sticks, and when they stab you, like incinerate, and they call it pruning. And you basically get thrown in like a big junk pile place that's outside of time. And then there, Loki meets a bunch of other versions of himself. Like there's like an alligator Loki, an old man Loki that has the original costume, and then you have Kid Loki. So it was really cool to see all those different things. And yeah, like I said, they're trying to figure out the TVA Time Masters, or whatever you want to call it. And it turns out it's very much like a Wizard of Oz, like where they're not real. But I mean, like I said, I won't spoil it. So like I said, if you guys haven't seen this yet, please go watch it. It's definitely worth it. I kind of already talked about this a little bit, but it's definitely the best of the three Disney Plus shows that they released, like the Marvel ones, that go along with like the MCU. Because I know they're going to be releasing the What If series, but that's obviously a what if, so it's not real, and also it's animated. And this is the only one that, so far, I haven't seen anything else, but this has a season 2, which totally makes sense because WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier, like those make sense not to do a second season, because it's like they made this TV show basically to introduce their new characters, now that Falcon is the Captain America and Wanda has like her Scarlet Witch uniform, or not uniform, suit, and she's got more control of her powers. But Loki, technically in the main timeline, Loki is dead. So like all that stuff, Endgame stuff, like it makes sense that they do more TV shows on him. And also, I honestly don't know. I mean, I guess this will be a spoiler. So if you guys don't want to hear this next part, just turn off the video. But basically, that timeline that I was telling you guys about, Loki and Sylvie, they basically beef it up. More Sylvie, and that normal timeline that they have branches out to 1,000 different branches. And I could see this is how they're totally going to set up like the Spider-Man movie. I've heard that's going to be like a Spider-Verse movie. And now that makes more sense, because I was wondering like how are they going to do that with Spider-Man? I just wasn't sure. And then now the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and then even Ant-Man, where it talks about like the quantum realm or whatever, like all those things. I'm like, oh, I'm so excited. They just blew open a huge can of worms. Next thing, dude, I freaking loved all the Easter eggs in this. I didn't catch all of them, but I have a buddy that's pretty big into Loki and Marvel as well, and he was telling me about it when I was seeing him, and he's like, oh yeah, do you see this and that? So all awesome. And when I sat down and tried to find the things that I didn't really like about this show, honestly, I couldn't really think of anything major that I was like, I don't really like that show, or not like this part, or they could have done this better. And maybe it's because I stretched this video out because I didn't really want to do episode reviews just yet, but I couldn't find anything particular that I didn't like about the show. And if I were to give my rating overall for Loki TV show out of 10, dude, this would be a solid 9. There's definitely some things that I didn't quite feel like it was a 10, just because they ended it on a cliffhanger, and I don't know, it didn't, you know what I mean? Like, it didn't feel like a 10 show, but it was a solid 9 for sure. Fantastic. If you guys have Disney Plus and have not watched this yet, freaking just go watch it. You will not be disappointed. I freaking love it. Thanks. And yeah, so we're going to go ahead and end the video, guys. Thanks everyone for tuning in to my review. Don't forget to leave a like on the video and subscribe if you guys are new. We'll have definitely more reviews and reactions in the future, so you guys want to be subscribed for that. And yeah, thanks everyone for taking the time out of your day to watch my video. And yeah, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Have a good one.